get ready for a rapid-fire download of game-changing insights. We're diving deep into the latest breakthroughs that are reshaping industries and saving lives. First up, groundbreaking new data on T-DXd is poised to potentially reorder the entire sequencing of treatment for HER2 plus breast cancer, with Dr. Naoto T. Ueno leading the discussion on how this could impact future therapies. Then, we're looking at the incredible journey of Adobe Stock, where a modest $10,000 investment from the mid-1980s has ballooned into an astonishing $33 million, a testament to its enduring growth, even as it faces recent market shifts. Shifting gears to public health, we're examining the persistent rural-urban disparities in colorectal cancer screening, uncovering the complex barriers that still prevent equitable access to vital health checks. And finally, real-world data is revealing promising hematologic responses with Pacritinib in patients battling myelofibrosis with anemia, offering new hope for treatment efficacy. Stick around, because you won't want to miss a single second of this critical update. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out. New T-DXd data could reshape breast cancer treatment. Groundbreaking new data regarding famtrastuzumab deruxtecanxi, or T-DXd, is generating significant buzz in the oncology community. This development has the potential to fundamentally alter the established treatment sequencing for HER2-positive advanced or metastatic breast cancer. Dr. Naoto T. Ueno, a leading expert and interim program collator at the University of Hawaii Cancer Center, has been at the forefront of discussing these critical treatment considerations. Historically, T-DXd received FDA approval in late 2019 for patients with unresectable or metastatic HER2-positive breast cancer who had already undergone at least 2 prior anti-HER2 regimens. However, compelling new findings from the pivotal Phase 3 DESTINY-Breast09 trial are now suggesting that T-DXd, particularly in combination with pertuzumab, could soon be a viable option in the frontline setting. The DESTINY-Breast09 trial demonstrated a significant improvement in progression-free survival, PFS, for patients treated with T-DXd plus pertuzumab compared to the standard of care. This data has already earned T-DXd plus pertuzumab a breakthrough therapy designation from the FDA for frontline treatment. Dr. Ueno emphasizes that this shift necessitates a reevaluation of how therapies are sequenced. As we change the order of the previously established treatment, how we sequence these therapies needs to be addressed, he stated. The implications extend beyond T-DXd itself, potentially influencing the role of other agents like adutrastuzumab emtansine, T-DM1, in later lines of therapy. While direct clinical trial data for T-DM1 following T-DXd is still emerging, its potential utility is being explored. The oncology world is abuzz with discussions on how these new T-DXd findings will impact clinical practice. Experts are keenly watching to see how treatment guidelines will evolve and what this means for patients navigating their treatment journey. Don't go anywhere, because the way we invest is about to get a major reality check. Next, we're uncovering a stunning tale of growth from Adobe Stock and its journey from a small investment to a fortune. Adobe Stock, from $10,000 to over $33 million in 40 years. Adobe Inc., a titan in the digital media and creativity software space, renowned for iconic products like Photoshop and Illustrator, has a history of remarkable shareholder value. For 4 decades, Adobe Stock has charted an incredible upward trajectory, but recent performance has presented a more complex picture. Over the past 40 years, Adobe Stock has delivered an astounding return of over 337,791%. This means an initial investment of just $10,000 in the mid-1980s would now be worth more than $33 million, a truly extraordinary feat even after accounting for inflation. However, despite this long-term success, the stock has encountered significant headwinds in recent years, entering a major retracement phase from its peak near $700. Currently, Adobe's stock price hovers near a critical long-term support level around $250, which coincides with a golden ratio and the 200-month exponential moving average. While longer-term technical indicators like the EMAs still suggest a bullish structure, momentum signals are mixed. The MACD histogram shows improving momentum, but the EMAs on both weekly and daily charts have formed a death cross, indicating a bearish midterm trend bias. The stock has recently declined by approximately 43% from its all-time high. Traders and investors are closely watching Adobe's next move. A successful hold at the current support could signal a potential recovery, targeting resistance levels at $449 and $532. Conversely, a break below this key support could signal further downside. The market is keenly analyzing these technical signals to gauge Adobe's next chapter. But what happens when access to essential healthcare isn't a given for everyone? Next, we're diving into critical disparities in cancer screening that demand our attention. Persistent rural-urban disparities in colorectal cancer screening. Despite national initiatives to boost screening rates, a significant gap persists between rural and urban populations when it comes to colorectal cancer, CRC, screening. A comprehensive analysis of over 535,000 adults in the U.S. reveals that rural residents are considerably less likely to undergo this vital health check. This disparity is a serious concern, as rural populations often bear a higher burden of CRC mortality. While factors like education, income, insurance coverage, and access to healthcare providers explain a portion of this gap, a staggering 72.5% remains unexplained. This points to deeper, systemic, and cultural barriers that hinder equitable screening. The study, published in Cancer Causes and Control, analyzed data from the Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System between 2019 and 2023. It found that, while 77.7% of urban residents reported being up to date with CRC screening, only 74.4% of rural residents did. The decomposition analysis showed that measurable factors like socioeconomic status and access only accounted for about 27.5% of the difference. The remaining majority is attributed to unmeasured influences within the healthcare system and societal factors. Public health officials and researchers are highlighting the urgent need for equity-focused interventions. The findings underscore that addressing these disparities requires a multifaceted approach that goes beyond simply improving access to healthcare facilities, tackling the underlying structural and cultural impediments that disproportionately affect rural communities. But there's a glimmer of hope emerging from the front lines of cancer treatment. Next, we're looking at real-world data showing significant improvements for patients with myelofibrosis and anemia. Real-world data show promising hematologic responses with Pacritinib in myelofibrosis. New real-world data presented at the 2025 SOHO annual meeting indicates that Pacritinib, a JAK inhibitor, is demonstrating notable improvements in hemoglobin levels and platelet counts for patients with myelofibrosis and anemia. Pacritinib, also known by its brand name Vonjo, is designed to selectively inhibit JAK2 and IRAK1. In this real-world analysis involving 148 patients with myelofibrosis and anemia, a significant 44% achieved a hemoglobin response, with the majority of these responses occurring within the first 90 days of treatment. This is particularly impactful given that 84% of these responders initially had moderate to severe anemia. The study, utilizing data from the Integra Precision Q database, also showed that while platelet counts remained generally stable, improvements were observed in patients with moderate and mild anemia. These findings align with previous clinical trial data, such as the Phase 3 PERSIST-2 trial, which also highlighted Pacritinib's efficacy in reducing transfusion requirements for patients with myelofibrosis and anemia. Lead study author Dr. Rajat K. Rampal of Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center noted that these real-world findings support guideline recommendations for Pacritinib use in this patient population. The data offers encouraging insights into the drug's performance in everyday clinical practice, potentially improving the quality of life for patients battling myelofibrosis and its associated anemia. That's all the breaking news for today, but we've got a lightning round recap coming right up. Make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on. All right, everyone, that's a wrap on today's essential updates. We saw how new T-DXd data might change the game for HER2 plus breast cancer treatment, explored Adobe Stock's incredible 40-year growth story from 10K to millions, highlighted the persistent rural-urban divide in colorectal cancer screening, and learned about promising real-world results for Pacritinib in myelofibrosis. If you found this information valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to Microsoft Sphere for more in-depth analysis, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. We also want to hear from you, so leave a comment below with your thoughts. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media channels for more exclusive content. Thanks for watching.